everyone, welcome to Move Well, Live Well. We get a number of people that come in here with issues regarding their shoulder. Now, what's going on with their shoulder is when they're exercising or moving around, they're experiencing a popping sensation or a clicking sensation in their shoulder. Sometimes it's with pain and sometimes it's not with pain. So, what's going on with these folks? Why are they experiencing these popping sensations in the shoulder? I got Dr. K here, and we're going to demonstrate a couple of things that you can do to help try to eliminate that popping, clicking noise in your shoulder. Well, first of all, we kind of got to go into why you're getting that popping and clicking in your shoulder. There are three non-injury type of reasons that you're getting popping and clicking in your shoulder. One of them being is the tendon of the bicep sometimes kind of comes out of the groove as you do your exercises. And then that tendon just flips around out in and out of that groove, and you might get popping or clicking in your shoulder. The other one would be, for instance, if you kind of have loose ligaments. We know a number of people, right, that in our patients that are kind of double jointed, right? You're born double jointed. They do this and their elbow goes the opposite way or whatever. They just have loose ligaments. They're super flexible. And sometimes that loose ligaments, as that capsule trying to hold that shoulder in the socket, it can click when they do certain movements. So that's another reason. Or the third reason would be just simple cavitation of the joint. So just like if you pop your knuckle or something like that, that sound that you hear is release of gaseous negative pressure within the joint capsule, release of carbon dioxide, nitrogen gases within the joint capsule, and that's why you get that popping sensation. So those are the non-injury reasons that you would get popping or clicking in your shoulder when you exercise. The other three reasons would be injurious reasons. In other words, you've actually experienced an injury, and these are usually associated with pain. And it's definitely important to go and seek out your local healthcare practitioner to make sure which structures are actually causing the clicking and popping in your shoulder. But these ones are, you get the tendon fraying. So you have impingement syndrome. There's a lot of structures underneath the acromion of the shoulder blade, right in here in that subacromial space. And if you're reaching overhead, that supraspinatus or one of the rotator cuff tendons can hit that acromion of the scapula and over time causes fraying. So if you ever seen like a rope around a rock and you go back and forth over that rock, you can get that fraying, and then over time the tendon becomes thinner and thinner, and then you can get rotator cuff tear. So that's not good. So that's another reason why you can get popping in the shoulders because of that. Another one would be arthritis. So in other words, the gliding surfaces, so it's a ball and socket joint, right? You have the ball and socket joint. If the gliding surfaces within the shoulder itself are no longer sliding very well, they're kind of rough. If you lost a little bit of cartilage in through there, or there was a previous history of injury, then you can get, instead of the joint sliding nicely in there, it clicks because it hits those unsmooth, the non-smooth surfaces, and you get that clicking, that grinding and popping sensation in through there. Or another one, you just have a full tear. So you have a full tear of the rotator cuff, or you have a full tear of the labrum, which is the kind of the cup in which the ball, the head of the humerus fits into that labrum. It's like a little cup, and if it's torn, then as the humerus goes to glide over it or move in there, you get the clicking and popping, and then that's not good. Sometimes you need surgery for that. So those are the three injurious reasons why you can get popping. But what we see a lot too, as far as why we get that popping, is again, that shoulder sits in the socket like this. But we see a lot of people, what do we do all day? We sit. So a lot of people's posture, here's my posture like this, relaxed, and you can see my shoulder sits on the side of my body. But you see folks, they're like this. Their elbows flare out. You can see my elbow points backward behind me, right? But their elbows flare out like this. And you can see if you look, might go a little closer here, you can see their shoulder sits forward like this, and the elbows flare out. See, I'm standing straight right here, and my elbow, or excuse me, my shoulder sits nicely in the socket on the side, and my elbow points backwards. But folks are like this. And now, imagine, see the difference? Look at my left arm. See, you can actually see the antecubital fossa here in the front. But now I turn this, but shoulders are turned like this. And this is how they are. Look at the difference on my two shoulders there. And then, so then the ball, if this is like this, the rotator cuff muscles, I'm gonna have Dr. K here, the rotator cuff muscles behind here, they're here, and this is your shoulder blade. They help to bring the shoulder back into the socket. They help the shoulder sit in the socket better. So they do this. You see? Like so, let me put Dr. K here on the side view here. You can see if I contract, if these muscles contract, the rotator cuff muscles are my hand, if these contract, it brings the shoulder back. You see that? Boom. Just like that. Boom. So they've developed a certain weakness in the rotator cuff muscles, and then the muscles in the front are super tight and they're bringing the shoulders forward, just like that. So in other words, a big reason why a lot of people get that popping and clicking in the shoulder is simply because the shoulder no longer sits in the socket very well. It's sitting forward in the socket. So then when you go to do stuff like overhead, you go do stuff to the side, any kind of movement, you get that popping and clicking because it doesn't sit in the socket well. You want the socket, you want the ball of the head of the humerus to sit in the socket nice and centered, so that way you have full range, and then that ball can glide in there without popping or clicking. So how do you fix that? How do you fix see, sitting on the side like this, how do you fix this flared out elbow, shoulder rotated forward stuff? See that? You see people, they walk around like this, right? And they have this problem, and then they go to do exercise and like, oh, pinchy, or clicks, or whatever it may be. Well, I'll give you three. There's three things that you can do. Now, the idea behind this is to do them on a regular basis, so that way you can help prevent that popping and clicking, and eventually, get to a point where you decrease the incidence of either tearing your rotator cuff or getting a permanent injury like a labrum tear or anything like that. So, 3, here we go. So the first one is you want to first clear out the tightness in here, because right, like this, you see dudes walking around like this all day, right? You see it, right? Their shoulders or their elbows flare out like this, and they walk around like this. And that's the way it is. So you want to clear out those muscles that are doing that. So the big muscles that do it, obviously, are the muscles of the chest, right? Muscles of the chest, even the bicep, and in the front of the shoulder. So a great stretch is a good pec stretch, just like this. So you could do this in a door jam. We're using the little suspension apparatus here that we have at our gym. So you can do the chest stretch, and you see how Dr. K here is doing this. This is opening up that chest, and you'll feel this kind of nastiness up in here. Kind of the pec minor is in through here, the big pec. And you have even the anterior deltoid, the deltoid here in the front. You can even feel a little bit of the bicep in here too. To accentuate this, to accentuate more of the bicep, Dr. K is going to kind of sit down a little bit into the stretch. See that? She's sitting down in the stretch. So let me see if you can kind of see a side view here. I'm going to move you here, guys. So we're going to go over here. And you can kind of see how Dr. K is sitting down into this stretch right there. See that? Good. So again, 2 minutes. You want to hold these stretches for about 2 minutes as you do them. And again, don't sit there in agony for 2 minutes. If you have to, rest for, get off of it for about 5-10 seconds and then go back into the stretch. But don't sit there in agony for 2 minutes. So that's the first thing that you do. So step 1, you want to clear out the junk, the muscles of the front that are internally rotating your shoulder like this and flaring out your elbows. So you want to clear those out. So any questions on that? So anyway, the next one you want to focus on external rotation. Now, a lot of people think that external rotation is this. Well, this is supination, okay? This is supination of the forearm. See, this is my forearm, right? It supinates. A lot of people think this is external rotation. Well, it's supination of the forearm. External rotation of the humerus involves, you see this? If I put my hand out in front of you like this and I do this, that's external rotation of the humerus. Remember, the internal rotators are tight. We want to externally rotate, right? And if we're going overhead, we want to externally rotate the humerus. So Dr. K here is going to demonstrate this. So external rotation of the humerus is you get some of the forearm, right? But then you look at her upper arm here. Let's go a little closer so you can see. So look at her upper arm. Watch this. Boom. See that? And then behind, see? This is external rotation. So external rotation is up and behind. See? So if I put Dr. K's arm right here, see that? This is internal rotation. And the upper arm bone, if you want to externally rotate, you got to do this. See that? You feel that there, hey? Mm-hmm. So it's in here. This is external rotation of the humerus. Okay? So you want to do exercises where you're reaching kind of behind you, right? But at the same time, you want to not hyperextend the low back. So you can do both arms at the same time. So I call these overhead external rotations. So your thumbs out, right? So you're supinating your forearms, but at the same time, you're gonna go down and you're gonna up, just like that, and reach behind you, reaching behind you. Oh, so you go side view here. So here we go. So we're gonna come down and you're gonna reach behind you. There, you see how this externally rotates, okay? Not just supination of the forearm, but you're gonna get external rotation of the, even Dr. K's tight, man. She feels it, yeah. So for me, here, hop forward for a second. So again, a lot of people, they just do this and they're thinking they're externally rotating, but they're not. They're just rotating, they're supinating their forearm. You want external rotation of the humerus, of the upper arm bone. See that? So you're here, this is even with my body. I'm externally rotating. See that? Boom. And I'm reaching behind me. See that? So that's the second one. That's the difference between supination and actually externally rotating the humerus and behind you. Okay? So the next one is straight arm pull down. So you can use a pole like this. You got a broomstick at home or whatever it may be. And then you're going to, as you're doing this, you're going to push down on, good, push down on the pole here. And then Dr. K is going to walk behind and she's going to slowly bring this down. As you're pushing pressure down, it's going to help stretch the lat. The lat is a big internal rotator of the upper arm bone or the humerus. So you want to, this is a great stretch here. Let's go a little forward here so that you're kind of falling out of the frame. Let's go a little forward here, just like that, okay? So now you push, and she walks out, and she can probably feel a lot of that in there, right?
Yep.
So, and then as you're doing this, you're pushing down. So this is an actual active pulling down. So the last two are really active. The first one is stretching out the front, so it's pretty passive. But the second two steps are active. You're really pushing that down. And then you want to push down on that, you know, at a constant. You can relax. You can even contract, relax if you want, 10, 15 times.
And don't forget to breathe.
Don't forget to breathe, right. That's big.
Hold
you know,
your breath.
We see a number of folks, as they do this stuff, they forget to breathe when they're doing these stretches and exercises. This should be, as much as you can, trying to relax, so that way you can achieve those. You can achieve those movements and bringing those back. So the overhead. So again, 3. Let's go over those again one more time. So you want to clear the front, right? So we're clearing the front with the chest stretches and the bicep stretches. Using a door jam. We're using the suspension
Here's
system.
like a door jam.
Yeah, so that's like a door jam stretch, right? You see how here this is all stretching, opening this up here. The second one was the overhead external rotations. Remember those? So overhead, you're reaching overhead as you do this. So just up, boom, just like that. Boom, just like that. You're reaching kind of behind you as you reach up. And then the straight arm press downs. You're kind of out of the frame here. There we go. Good. So that's it. Those are the three ways in which to help stop and prevent the clicking and popping sensations going on in your shoulder. So, if you have any questions with this video, obviously drop them off in the comment section below. We thank you for watching. We appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, hit subscribe. And when you hit subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification button. That way, because it'll keep you in the loop as to future videos coming here on this channel. And that way you can continue to move well and live well. Also, give us a like. It lets us know you care. And if you know folks, I know you know folks who are out there who have clicking or popping issues in their shoulder, share this with them. It'll help them decrease that popping and sensation in their shoulder. Plus, it'll give them ideas and help them so that way they can further prevent injury of their shoulder, because that's what these things will do as well. So anyway, we thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.